Hey guys, welcome back to the Time Bomb channel. Hope all is good with you in your part of the world. And yeah, wow, here on the channel we've got a true Swiss stalwart in for review today in the Fortis. First up, before I start rambling, massive thanks to one of our channel subscribers for sharing this one with us. It's a brand that personally I've not had that much experience of. Bit of background, they started back in 1912, and apparently they still operate out of their original building here. It's a brand that probably flies slightly under, within, overshadowed by some of their larger Swiss cousins. And for me, primarily, I've never purchased one of their watches. Their divers have never really resonated with me. The dive watches obviously being my favourite. Just not really sure about their designs. However, the Cosmonautis collection, yeah, defo. That's looks absolute superb. Bags of fun, and I'd be very happy to get my grubby mitts one on one of them. But back to our watch today. So essentially, what we're looking at here is this model is called the Terrestris Hedonist AM, and that's ref 9012165. Let's just unpack that very quickly. So Terrestris, yeah, Earth. Not quite sure though how that relates to this particular watch. Hedonist, yeah, maybe a slight nod to F. Scott Fitzgerald's drinking companions on Long Island, as I think this watch design is certainly seeking to recapture something from that epoch. Then easier to unpick is the AM. It denotes this silver opaline dial, whereas the PM versions, obviously, that darker anthracite dial, certainly looking very good in that colorway also. These watches then, though, do attract quite a hefty RRP. They're on sale for £1,860. However, the current owner of this one got a significant 40-45% discount on that price. Looking around today also, then I've seen some decent discounts. I'm not necessarily sure that you need to pay full retail on these. Let's kick off with some specs though. So we're looking at 40 mils across, just add a couple extra then for the crown. The side profile then sits on 47 mils north to south. It's just a very slight 7.35 mils in depth, so easily going to sit underneath your polo neck or your shirt cuffs without issue. It then sits on slightly petite 19 mil lugs. These come on with 50 meters worth of watery goodness, but again, I think that's just keeping with the style of the watch. And yeah, so when the photo came to me, the first thing I said to myself out loud was, "Ooh, that dial! That dial is really very pretty, and in hand it does not disappoint." I think it is really very special. So clean, yeah, and that silver opaline, depending on the light here, I'll throw up some sort of shots of it in slightly darker, slightly lighter here. So you can, depending on the angle of the light, it really does reflect back something either warmer or cooler. You can see as well just on the dial then you've got some just very faint circular grooves cut into it, just adding that very subtle detail here that pretty much disappears at anything beyond say 12 inches. I have a true weakness for the running seconds subdials on dressier watches. I don't know if that's because they fit with my preconceived notions about what makes a dress watch, or maybe they just fulfill my penchant for the traditional. But as you can see just on these close-up shots, that subdial features these very slight ripples. But again, you do need to get very close up to see to appreciate the full difference in depth that subdial offers. Notice then, of course, that the date window placed just above the 6 there. It's certainly better here to me than at the 3, but it does just eat just a little bit of that subdial. But as I say, yeah, a million times better than putting it at the 3. The script under the 12 to me as well is not obtrusive or brash. It's really nice to see that they've got the confidence, that they trust the dial design to work, rather than feeling the need to fill that space up with the branding. The hands themselves are, these gold plated few hands, and those hour pips, that same gold. And again, you can sort of just look at it from here. You can see that those alternate gold pips seem to almost enhance the symmetry and the balance on the dial, creating an almost hexagonal effect between digits and pips. Again, nice, very, very nicely done. Again, I might just need to get a close-up shot of this one to show you that the hour markers are 3D. Again, very, very, very clear. Again, creating simplicity, class, nostalgia, without being blingy, which is a big ask. Other aspects, the crown over here is signed, and again, just another. A standout for me is that you can get your fingernail underneath. There's adequate room for your fingernail, which I think is very important on smaller dress watches. There's nothing worse than breaking your delicately manicured fingernails when your watch is in need of a good wind. Let me just reverse around to show you the case back, which to me is kind of super cool and a little disappointing all at the same time. You've obviously then got the cut through there, so you can see through to the ETA movement, which is the 2895-2, which is part of the flatline family, I believe. 42 hours of power reserve, 27 joules, although not many of the family jewels on view here. See, obviously then signed rotor, but as you can see, there's not a massive amount of action visible there. What you can see looks fantastic, but then the text around the framing that is kind of just sort of basic and dull. I mean, they've gone to such effort on the dial to make it, uber retro, uber 1930s, but then it doesn't even warrant, say, like a 1930s font. It's just sort of almost laser printed on there. I think it's a little bit lazy and just a little bit disappointing, but maybe I'm overthinking it. Harumph. Yeah, just me. What else did I want to say? So yeah, let's have a look on the sides. So just make sure I get my fingerprints off that so you can see it in all of its beauty. The lugs, again, very, very subtle curvy lugs, which are quite short as well, as you can see. But I don't think that's an issue, because what they do by being slightly shorter is amplify the size of that dial. So yeah, brilliant. There's no loom on these at all. Absolutely nothing, which is a little weak, as on dressy pieces even I like to see just a sliver. I was trying to spit that one out. A sliver of loom on those hands at least. Up top you've got sapphire, of course, which is very, very flat indeed. Sits just a millimetre above that bezel. Again, nice choice. Lots of good things to say about it then. Really, there are a lot of good things to say about it. However, there is a problem. Just for reference, I'm rocking the Heimdallr Orange Monster here. Again, not really a comparison, but just for references, what we're wearing today. And that's the problem with this particular watch. That as soon as I put it on wrist, let me do that for you now, you'll see what the problem is. I just don't think it looks good. It just doesn't look right. Doesn't matter what I put on, what I wear with it. I just can't get it to look good. I don't know if it's because of the my skin color, because of the tats, because of the color of the leather here. Just not really sure that it works. Really very, very frustrating. And ironically, I think that this is the current owner's feedback also, and it's possibly one of the reasons why he's looking to sell. He suggests for him that there's so much going on for the watch that he really, really liked, hence the reason for buying it in the first place, but he just hasn't connected with it. And I'm wondering, if the strap change or something else, I don't know what it is, that we would need to make it a success. Very frustrating, because, as I say, it looks brilliant. But over to you guys. What do you guys think? What do you reckon? Are we going to be cutting the red wire or the black one on this one? Do you own any of the other Fortis? What's your feedback of having used them and worn them for a while? Are we overthinking it? We should just get it on wrist and enjoy the hell out of it. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. Thanks as always for your time and for your view. Much appreciated as always. And of course, until the next time, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers, guys.